Patricia welcoming you to the 2108th edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper. Dateline, 10th of August. The readers this week are Katherin, Romany and Patricia, with Dem at the controls. The editor is Phillip, and the production and distribution team, well, it's shared by all of us here. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon, Harry Breuer, and performed by Jean-Jacques Perret, and it's used with his kind permission. The local stories that we'll be reading come from the Enfield Independent and the Edmonton Magazine, and are their copyright. The events information has been collated by us from other sources. Our lead story this week is Cruel Vandals Ruin Teenagers' Memorial. Now, before the news, we have one or two special news items and notices. First, the sunrise and sunset times for the week beginning 17th of August are 0550 and 2017 hours. And we also have some information on what's on over the next few weeks. But do get in touch with us to share your own news and special announcements. We love to hear from you. If you have any comments about the Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020-8805-6578. She is your listener's representative and will be pleased to help you. Now, for the first of our notices of events coming up locally and a little farther afield over the next few weeks, we have some information about an audio-described tour at Tate Modern with Aaron McPeak. This takes place on Wednesday, the 23rd of August, between 4 o'clock and 5:30. It's called Touching Between Object and Architecture. Connect with object and architecture and think about the spaces we inhabit and the materials that surround us. Based in the display Between Object and Architecture, this audio description tour will use haptic aids and handling objects to help describe the works within the room. Entrance is free, but booking is required. You can join Tate for a special series of artist-led tours of the Tate Modern collection for blind and partially sighted visitors. Led by practicing artists, we will use audio description, raised images, handling objects, and group discussion to discover new artworks and ideas. Please, you join the group in the community room from 3:30 for tea and cake. And then to find the tour, please come to the Blavatnik entrance on the south side of the building off Sumner Street. And the community room is at the end of the terrace bar. No bookings required. The tour takes place seated in the gallery. Sighted companions and guide dogs are very welcome, and the event is fully supported by trained audio describers. There are hearing loops and amplifiers available. But if you want to go along but you have any other access needs or inquiries that you'd like the organisers to know about, the contact at Tate Modern is Anna Murray, who is the assistant curator, Tate Access. Her email is anna.murray, and that's spelled M-U-R-R-A-Y, so anna.murray @tate.org.uk, or call 020-7887-8888. And the venue again is Tate Modern at Bankside, that's London SE1 9TG, and the closest tube is Southwark.
The next item is Yerma. This is going to take place on Saturday, 26 August 2017 at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. The ticket price is from £10 and the touch tour is to be confirmed. And a little bit about Yerma. Billie Piper plays Yerma, a woman driven to the unthinkable by her desperate desire to have a child in Simon Stone's radical production of Lorca's achingly powerful masterpiece. Please note this is an audio-described performance at an independent venue. Every effort has been made to ensure that these details are correct. However, please do double-check with the venue for the availability of introductory notes and touch tours when booking. The box office number is 020-7922-2922. Email address is www.youngvic.com, and the venue is Young Vic, 66 The Cut, Waterloo, London, SE1 8LZ, the closest tube being Southwark.
And now you've got 3 more What's-Ons from me. The first is Reggae on the Lawn on Sunday the 20th of August from 12 o'clock until 6 p.m. at Forty Hall. Tickets are £25 for adults. Children, here it's 11 to 17-year-olds, £10, with the under 11s going free. Reggae and lovers rock are among the rich kaleidoscope of live music that you will be able to hear during Forty Hall Park's Reggae on the Lawn event. Fun for all the family with various food and drink stalls as well as all that wonderful music. And then here's one that's close to my heart, the Enfield Food Festival, a 2-day event over the bank holiday weekend. That's over Sunday the 27th of August and Monday the 28th of August, both days from 11 in the morning until 5 in the evening, afternoon. And that's also at Forty Hall. And this is a celebration of the great food and drink made right here in the borough of Enfield and its neighbouring areas, in the atmospheric setting of Capel Manor College's Forty Hall Farm. Good food and fun on the farm for all the family. Tickets, adults £5, children £3, and the under 3s go free. And then finally, and I'm sure you'll hear about this one again, it's the Enfield Fun Day at Enfield Market in Church Street. And that's way ahead of us now, Sunday the 10th of September from 10:30 until 4 p.m. Please join us and meet your local businesses, tradesmen, freelancers, slimming clubs, toddler groups, kids clubs, cake makers, florists, dance academies, and the list just goes on. So that's for Sunday the 10th of September at Enfield Market.
Thank you, Katherin. Now, Romany will read the first item of local news.
Cruel vandals ruin teenager's memorial. Vandals heavily damaged the arm and face of a statue dedicated to a dead teenage girl in Enfield in an act of purposeful, non-caring destruction. Giulietta Gali Atkinson found her daughter Livia's statue had been smashed at the Livia Memorial Garden, Windmill Hill, Enfield on August the 3rd. Livia, who was 16 when she died, was on her way to ballet on 12th of January 1998 when a driver mounted the pavement and drove nearly 40 metres without braking before hitting her. Her mother was left dismayed after coming back from holiday to find the statue had been broken. She said, "Naturally, my family and I feel gutted at being reminded of the kind of nastiness that can so easily crush." She could not find a reason why someone would target the memorial, saying, "It was working wonderfully. I have no idea why someone took a hammer and smashed it. Why would people wish to do this? People who do this to statues are drivers who do it to people. It's just nasty for someone to willfully hack away at something because their lives aren't going right." She believes the statue was targeted in hatred. People have done it in hatred. I have no idea who would target it, but I have no evidence. It has been reported to the police. The spirit of the garden is one of tranquility, and it's how we want to remember Livia. She and her husband George have now been forced to close the garden to prevent it from happening again. She stressed that the family have tried their best to keep it open and have looked after it and nurtured it. The family are responsible for physically and financially maintaining the garden. The statue had been previously damaged 10 days after the garden opened on October the 30th, 1999, but was repaired following cash donations. The driver who caused Livia's death was found guilty of causing death by dangerous driving after pleading not guilty to the charge. He received a £2,000 fine, £1,825 in costs, 10 penalty points and a 5-year driving ban. Mrs. Garley Atkinson and her family campaigned against the lenient sentencing and eventually triumphed in a civil case against the defendant in 2003. They successfully managed to widen the parameters of the trauma and proximity definition in personal injury claims. To find out more about Livia's story and donate, visit www.clamorandcampaign.com.
Overcoming the housing crisis. Innovative ideas are being used to overcome the housing shortage in Enfield. Enfield Council is working in partnership with Neilcott Construction to build 13 homes on 5 disused garage sites in Padstow Road, Perrymead and Hedge Hill. When completed, they will be sold to private owners. Income generated from the sale of the 1, 2 and 3 bedroom homes will help pay for the construction of 15 council-rented properties in Ordnance Road. 2 of the council-rented homes will be fully adapted for wheelchair users. 11 of the properties will be 3-bedroom, 3-storey houses, with the remaining 4 one-bedroom detached bungalows. Located on a new mews between Rotherfield Road and Beaconsfield Road, 16 off-street parking spaces for residents are planned. Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Housing and Housing Regeneration, Councillor Ahmet Oykiner, said, "In common with many other London boroughs, we have a shortage of social housing, and this project will help us reduce the pressure on housing locally by both providing new build homes for home buyers, but also ultimately funding the construction of new social housing for those most in need of assistance. We are looking at a variety of innovative and effective ways of providing new homes for people in Enfield. These range from the huge £6 billion Meridian water development, which will provide 10,000 new homes, to our innovative estate renewal programme, and smaller but vitally important projects such as this one. Every one of these schemes helps us build strong communities and help our residents build a better life for them and their families. And I'm delighted we are taking an innovative and creative approach to bringing new homes to Enfield."
Paying tribute to our historic fallen soldiers. Fallen soldiers who heroically gave their lives so future generations can live in freedom have been honoured. Enfield Council worked with veterans groups to bring about the introduction of a new plaque to the town memorial in Chaseside. Servicemen and women who gave their lives in conflict since 1945 will be commemorated. Their ultimate sacrifice will be marked with those of World Wars I and II on Remembrance Day, November the 11th. Inscribed on the plaque will be the words, "To commemorate members of HM Armed Forces from Enfield who gave their lives in the service of their country in all conflicts since World War II." And a book of remembrance will also be opened. John Mitchell from the Suez Veterans Association, who served in the Suez Canal between 1951 and 1954, said, "I welcome the announcement of a bronze plaque commemorating members of HM Armed Forces from Enfield who died in all conflicts since World War II, and it is fitting that it should be mounted on Enfield's War Memorial." Chairman of the Royal British Legion, Enfield Branch, Holt Whites Hill, Brendan Farrell, added, "We are proud to be involved with this new memorial plaque, dedicated to those from Enfield who, since World War II, while serving in HM Armed Forces, died in various conflicts around the world. We owe them a lasting, peaceful world for all to live in. Councillor Daniel Anderson said, "We have a duty to remember all those who gave their lives for their country." And there's an email that you can address that you can contact if you would like a relative or friend's name added to that book of remembrance. The contact's name is John Clark, and that's C-L-A-R-K. And the email address is john.clark@enfield.gov.uk. So he's the man to contact if you have a relative or friend who you think should have their name added to that book of remembrance.
Group of men flee scene after stabbing attack. A man was stabbed in Southgate in an attack believed to have involved several people. The 33-year-old was attacked on July the 24th at around 2:50 p.m. in Burley Gardens, Southgate. Police believe a group of men were involved and then made off in a silver-coloured car. The victim was left in hospital in a serious but stable condition. His injuries are not life-threatening. Anyone with information is asked to contact Barnet Police on 020 8733 4125.
Arrest after teen dies in crash. An 18-year-old has died and a man has been arrested after a fatal moped crash. Police were called to London Road at the junction with Essex Road in Enfield on Sunday, August the 5th at 3:12 a.m. to a car which had crashed with a moped. A second man, 19, the pillion moped passenger, was found injured nearby. He was taken to hospital by the London Ambulance Service with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the car, a man, has been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. He is in custody at a North London police station.
Computer leader is an influential woman. Award is positive step for gender equality. A computer leader has been named as one of the most influential women in the tech industry, which has been hailed a positive step towards gender equality. Nadira Hussain, head of ICT at Enfield Council, has won a place for Computer Weekly's 50 most influential women in UK tech. Her recognition is primarily for establishing women in IT through her presidency of the Society of IT Management. Ms. Hussain previously created the Empowering Women in a Digital World leadership program with the Leadership Academy. She said, "I'm really pleased with this recognition. It acknowledges the contribution that I've made to increasing the interest and engagement of women in IT. But it also highlights the importance of diversity and equality of opportunity for women in the technology environment. Gender equality is something I actively believe in and promote. Everyone should have the same opportunities, regardless of gender. And while there are not enough women in the technology sector, we must continue to break down barriers whenever we can." Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Community, Arts and Culture, Councillor Yasmin Brett, said, "While great strides have been made in the field of equality in the UK in recent years, it remains a challenge, particularly in the ICT sector, and Enfield Council actively seeks ways that it can support women to enter this competitive field. We're immensely proud that Nadira has won a place on the long list, and as a council we do everything we can to promote fairness for all. And this includes our residents and staff, encouraging everyone to reach their full potential. We do this by investing in our schools and by linking with providers to ensure that everyone, regardless of their means, has access to the training they need to be the best they can be. Enfield Council is also actively working with schools to support ICT skill acquisition for girls and encouraging them to get work experience in organisations to learn about new technologies."
Fly tipping crackdown. Prison or a huge financial penalty could be the fate for those who accept waste removal from companies that later fly tip the goods. Enfield Council is urging people to make sure anyone taking away refuse is legitimate. Visit www.enfield.gov.uk to report fly tipping for more information.
Bowing to pressure. And this is from James Hockney in Palmer's Green. It is heartrending to see all the empty shops in the wonderful town of Enfield. The next few years will be crucial to hopefully see Enfield Town rebound and fill those empty shop units, a great place to shop and one that has so much to offer. So, reading about the Enfield Town Master Plan by Enfield Council provided for a mixture of hope and concern. Whilst any efforts are welcome, it was disappointing that the council decided initially to hold only a 6-week consultation over the summer holidays with one public consultation meeting. That said, after pressure, they have relented by adding additional consultation events and extending the consultation into September, which is good news. This is a real opportunity to properly and fully engage with local residents and businesses. Together, we can bring forward the very best ideas. The future of the town affects us all. Let's all have our say.
Live music festival in the rain. There's a brief note of people enjoying themselves in spite of the recent very heavy rain. Hundreds of people braved the rain to attend this live music festival, which was the annual livestock event. It took place at Forty Hall, and they saw a host of bands come together to provide a day of fun and entertainment. Now, in its 6th year, it included a huge lineup of bands, including the Woodlands Blues Stage.
Inspirational Students Wow MP. Bambos Charalambos MP watched as teenagers showcased their community-spirited learning. Mr. Charalambos joined young constituents taking part in the National Citizen Service youth programme that teaches 15 to 17-year-olds life skills during summer holidays. Areas of specific focus were teamwork, budgeting, public speaking and community engagement, including volunteering for Enfield Cares, Enfield Mayor Christine Hamilton's chosen charity, and Murrayfield Care Home. With parents, guardians and peers, the Enfield Southgate MP watched participants demonstrate skills and activities they had practiced. Commenting on the programme, Mr. Charalambos said, "I was pleased to meet and see so many young people from Enfield Southgate participate in the National Citizen Service programme and making a difference in our community. It's fantastic to see the NCS activities providing so much value and being encouraged in Enfield, helping local young people to make new friends, further their education outside of the classroom and develop essential skills for life and work." Around 8,000 teenagers from North London will take part in NCS this summer. NCS takes place at the Chatsworth Centre in Dorset. Visit www.ncsthechallenge.org to find out more.
Unsung Hero raises cash for LGBT plus charities. An unsung hero, who is the only woman in the country to own and run a motorbike garage, has raised thousands of pounds for a homeless, lesbian, gay, bi and transgender charity. Karen Neal, director of Tottenham's Zenith Motorcycles, auctioned a rainbow unicorn car on eBay she had helped build as leader of a team of mechanics and artists. eBay was a partner on the project and doubled the amount the car was sold for to £30,200. All money raised went to homeless LGBT charity Albert Kennedy Trust. Karen had driven the car based on a classic 1968 Ford Mustang V8 in London's Pride Parade with her mum as passenger. Karen said, It's been a wonderful project. To take an old car and turn it into a work of art, I'm proud of my team at Zenith Motorcycles. Everyone who worked on this project has been fantastic. And working with a major international company like eBay has been absolutely brilliant. We raised over £30,000 for homeless LGBT young people, which we hope will help a number of beneficiaries at a time when they need it most. eBay spokesperson Chris Gardner said, "At eBay, we're proud to celebrate all kinds of diversity, whether that's the brilliant diversity of our society or the diversity available on site. It's been great to be part of this project where the LGBT community has come together for one purpose, to create this incredible, unique car and raise money for a great cause." Katherin has been honoured with Haringey Hero and Unsung Woman of Haringey Awards for her community work. For further information, visit www.zenithmotorcycles.co.uk.
Fun-packed summer fair. Edmonton Green is to host a full fun-packed family-orientated summer programme during August. Camp Edmonton kicks off on Saturday the 12th of August from 11 to 4 p.m. The Bonkers Balloons show will include comedy, music and magic, and they're coming to the show. Balloons will be modelled into nutty aliens, various forms of transport and animals, and children can try the skill for themselves. A week later, a campervan craft event on Saturday, August 19th, invites children to make their own summer-themed memento at a craft workshop, while a vintage VW campervan will be on display. A children's colouring competition will give them the chance to win Go Ape Trent Park tickets. And on the final Saturday of the month, August the 26th, families can see the famous German Shepherd Paw Patrol, Chase and his heroic Dalmatian puppy, Marshall. Stars of the children's hit television show will be on hand to pose for photos at various times during the day.
Quirky Art tells dog walkers to scoop it up. Scoop up the poop posters have been distributed throughout Haringey. Community-spirited 6-year-old Lordship Lane Primary School pupil Eloise Sharnock initiated a competition to design the posters. She wrote to Haringey Council complaining of the amount of dog mess on her walk home from school. Those found guilty of not picking up their dog's mess risk having to pay an £80 fine. Winning designer Junaid Junel, 11, said, "I've seen the posters outside and I feel like I've achieved something." Paul Bullen, 10, and his sister Louise, 6, created the 2 other winning designs. Paul said, "There were so many good posters, I was very surprised I won." The winners received framed pictures of their posters.
End of Speed Humps, and this is a letter from Steve Collins of Lavender Hill. Reading the article in the Daily Mail reporting that it could be the end of road humps, according to Environment Secretary Michael Gove, is wonderful news and quite literally like a breath of fresh air. According to Mr. Gove, councils should act to optimise traffic flow before considering the imposition of charges on diesel cars. They should consider changing road layouts, altering traffic light phasing, and removing road humps. The article went on to say that speed humps cause more pollution because repeatedly slowing down and speeding up almost doubles the amount of harmful gases vehicles pump out. In addition, many drivers complain about road humps as they cause damage to the vehicle, increase fuel use, and can even cause and exacerbate back problems. I wonder if Enfield Council is listening. In my opinion, we have as many, if not more, speed humps scattered around this borough than any other, some in the most inappropriate place.
And now sport, and firstly a report of a sprinter, local sprinter, Uja at a loss to explain world champs' failure. CJ Uja struggled to explain his below-par showing as he crashed out of the 100-metre semi-final at the Athletics World Championships. The Enfield and Haringey Athletics Club sprinter finished fourth in his qualifying heat, clocking a time of 10:12. Competing in the same race as Usain Bolt, Uja couldn't make the top two spot required to advance and was understandably disappointed to miss out on the final. I don't know what really went wrong. I can't say it's my start because I haven't always had the best of starts. I guess I didn't quite have the zip today, but that's how things go. The crowd's been amazing. It was so hard not to make another final by so little a margin, especially in front of your home crowd. I'd love to have made it into the final, but these things happen. I just didn't have the zip today.
Town thump Barton Rovers in final pre-season outing. Enfield Town concluded their pre-season schedule in fine fashion as they thrashed Barton Rovers 4-0 on Friday evening. The result saw Town pick up their fifth win in 7 matches from a successful close season and came on the back of a 2-1 loss to Heybridge Swifts on Tuesday. They were in the ascendancy from the first whistle and were up by 2 inside 9 minutes after making an imposing start to the match. Their first goal came with 3 minutes played when Robbie Rees sent in a pinpoint corner which Simon Thomas headed in with consummate ease. Thomas was involved again as Town made the most of their superiority to double their advantage. After some strong individual play from Thomas, Matt Mitchell-King took over and took centre stage. His low shot from the edge of the box had too much quality for the Rovers keeper and found the net. The Towners were in no mood to take their foot off the gas, but were inches from being pegged back with just under half an hour on the clock. Tella Trivelato picked the ball up 15 yards from goal and immediately let fly with a fierce drive, which cannoned back off the bar and away to safety. The hosts soon put the scare behind them and all but ended the game as a contest with 36 minutes played. On this occasion, Sam Youngs showcased his talents as he scored a fine solo effort. Taking possession on the edge of the box, Young set off on a powerful run into the box before calmly slotting the ball beyond the Rovers keeper with a placed finish. With a sizable lead to defend, the second half was predictably less eventful as Town sat back on their advantage and Rovers failed to mount any sort of comeback. There was still time for Enfield to extend their lead to 4-1 with 10 minutes left on the clock. The goal was simple in its construction as a breakdown from the right ended with a cross which picked out an unmarked Ralston Gabriel who headed home. The comprehensive victory provided the ideal preparation for Town's season opener, which sees them take on Folkestone Invicta on Saturday. Invicta come into the game looking to find some form after a pre-season which has seen them struggle for consistency. After playing out a 3-1 defeat against Dagenham and Redbridge last Monday, they finished their preparations for the season with their annual Sid Burville Trophy game against Thamesmead Town. The game ended all square at 1-1 after 90 minutes and was settled by a penalty shootout, which was won 3-2 by Town. Enfield follow up their first game of the season with an away clash with Hendon on Tuesday, August 15th. They complete a hectic first week of the season with a meeting against Burgess Hill Town the following Saturday. The game sees Hill visit the Queen Elizabeth II Stadium for a 3 p.m. kickoff.
And here's an article from the Edmonton Green magazine. It's called Lost Buildings of Edmonton. It's in the series, of Lost Buildings of Edmonton. And it's by Joe Studman. And it's about Pym's house. We are fortunate indeed to have Pym's Park on our doorstep. Procured by the local authority in 1896 and opened in 2 stages. The northern section in July 1897, 120 years ago this month, or last month as it is now, and the southern section on June the 16th, 1906. The purchase included a mansion that had its roots back as far as the 14th century, when the land was sold by a William Pym to our then Lord of the Manor, Adam Francis. Perhaps the most famous owner was William Cecil, Lord Burghley, chief adviser to Elizabeth I, who seemingly purchased the estate for his daughter Anne and her new husband, Edward de Vere. Unfortunately, the marriage had a difficult start, and the couple were separated for many years. Cecil's son, Robert, spent his honeymoon here and referred to it as our little farm. The Cecils probably rebuilt the house in the late 16th century and retained possession until 1704. Sometime during the 18th century, the building was refaced and a Georgian portico was added. This was the building that survived until 1940. A succession of owners held Pym's estate until the Ray family inherited in the early 1800s. They never lived here, but leased it out to wealthy tenants, including Sir Henry Tyler, the last tenant, who helped organise the Great Exhibition in 1851 in Hyde Park. Another Victorian tenant was a Colonel Armitage, who, along with the headmaster at the Latimer School, Vincent Dolby, formed the first Edmonton Cricket Club. Their ground was where the lake is now located, and legend says that balls were often hit for 6, landing on the platform of Silver Street Station. The most colourful resident, however, was Saeed Mansour Ali Khan, the Nawab of Bengal. He was a cricket fanatic, and I like to think he would have played with Armstrong and Dolby, but I can find no evidence. The Nawab's other hobby was women. He often swanned around London in a barouche full of prostitutes. Saeed Mansour was descendant of Mir Jafar, who was set up as Nawab by Robert Clive after the Battle of Plassey. He lived in Edmonton with his English wife, Sarah Begum, from Barnet, and they had 5 children. The Nawab came to London to appeal to Queen Victoria to allow his sons to inherit his kingdom. His endeavours failed, and he had to abdicate on a pension of £8,000. He had wanted 24,000. He secured a pension for his son, but not his daughters. Sarah Begum, one of over 20 wives, was refused a pension by British government. Mansour Ali Khan sired a total of 101 children, of whom 19 sons and 22 daughters survived him, which is both an impressive but sad statistic. When Edmonton Urban District Council acquired the house, it was used as a technical college in the early years of the 20th century, when it became a children's clinic. In World War II, it was commandeered for auxiliary firemen, but was burned down in 1940 in a fire unrelated to the war. All that's left is a walled garden restored in the 1930s and occasionally open to the public. It was the kitchen garden of the house, and if you get the chance, do pay it a visit just to see the wonderful Thomas Angel water fountain moved here from Angel Road.
And now another story from the Edmonton Green magazine, and it's about the Monmouth Road Green. Monmouth Road Green has officially opened to the public on 12th of June this year, having been transformed from a drab, unused open space to a peaceful, landscaped area of tranquility for local people to enjoy. The Green was visited by the Mayor of Enfield, along with the leader of the council, and special guests, including the children of St Edmund's Catholic Primary School off the Hertford Road, who helped to plant shrubs, flowers and other greenery. The open space complements one of Edmonton's most beautiful and historically significant residential areas. The land forms part of the Crescent Conservation Area in Edmonton, where Grade 2 listed buildings from the early 19th century form a crescent of terraced 4-storey houses, unique in Enfield. Enfield Council's leader, Councillor Doug Taylor, said, "This wonderful public space complements the recent council-led improvements to the Crescent, to both private properties and those owned by our project partners, Newlon Housing Trust. The main triumph of this regeneration has been the participation of the community in this project. We want people to have access to green, open spaces, and moreover, to have a say as to how their living areas are shaped. Looking ahead, we anticipate further investment into the area, which already is a thriving cosmopolitan place to live, work, and be educated in, leading to a strong community focus." The final design of the space was shaped by the local community during a public consultation which took place during the summer of 2016. There is an arc of trees and a curving footpath to mirror the shape of the historic crescent, as well as a central paving feature, which will include an engraving taken from novelist and journalist Daniel Defoe's writing about this area. The project is designed to sustainably manage rainwater by allowing it to run off into the surrounding flower beds. The flowers have been specially chosen to encourage bees and butterflies to visit the area. The Gardening Club of St Edmund's Catholic Primary School, comprising Year 5 and Year 6 students, helped with the planting and will enjoy the area for years to come, along with other residents in the area. The work at Monmouth Road Green forms part of the Council's growth and sustainability objective to attract investment and support sustainable regeneration and growth, as well as to provide residents with access to green, open spaces.
And this is the Cuckoo Hall Academy's Trust Summer Fair from the Edmonton Green magazine. More than 2,000 children and their families, teachers and local residents came to the annual summer fair held on the site of Woodpecker Hall Primary Academy on Nightingale Road. The event was opened by Mrs. Pauline Collison, and Chat, this is Cuckoo Hall Academy's Trust, Chief Executive Marino Charalambos said, "This was a record-breaking year for us, both in terms of the number of people who came and also the different and very varied activities we provided, including free activities. It was also great to see so many local residents, as we consider our 5 schools to be very much part of the life of the local community." Highlights of the day included a dozen musical and theatrical performances, a wide range of games and other stalls, face painting, guess the name of the giant white rabbit, and a very popular cake competition. There was also a boxing demonstration by local club Edmonton Eagles. Guests included the Mayor of Enfield, Councillor Christine Hamilton, Leader of the Council, Councillor Doug Taylor, and Councillor for the Ward, Councillor Bernie Lepage.
And now an article from the Edmonton Green magazine entitled "Locals Get to Know What's on Their Doorstep." This July was the launch of a groundbreaking new monthly event called Connect Us at Edmonton Green. It's an idea by Jennifer Barker after she realised there was a need to encourage the Edmonton Green community to shop locally. She felt compelled to make this idea into a reality. She felt the local community needed to know what was available on their doorstep. Businesses needed to showcase themselves. Locals and businesses now meet at Connect Us at Edmonton Green, and it's proving to be the solution. Businesses that attended were the featured speakers. They provided an insight to what they could offer to local people. They were able to showcase their businesses. One visitor said that she was so glad that local community got to make personal contacts with businesses and hear what was available to them firsthand. They gained confidence and trust in the businesses they met. Business also formed contacts with other businesses in the area. The event struck a chord with a business owner who remarked, "We need something like this in Edmonton." With the motivation from the local community and businesses, this was a great chance to interact over refreshments in lively, uplifting setting on the first floor of Market Square, Edmonton Green Shopping Centre. It was truly a day to remember.
Well, we've reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So, from the team of Katherin, Romany, Patricia and Em on the controls, it's goodbye. Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet, put the memory stick into the packet in a closed position and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget, you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking newspaper on 020 8805 6578. Coming up next, the latest news and information for the Greater London area from InfoSound. The Enfield Talking newspaper will be back with you again in 1 week's time.